show.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Now, coming up next, really cool stuff. If you guys haven't been gold panning before, right up here in Mariposa, a short hour drive from Fresno, we have the Gem and Mineral Museum. Let's bring in Randy. Randy, how's it going, buddy?
Chuck,
nice to see you. Yeah, Mariposa, one of my and my family's favorite places to go, and we have yet to do the gold panning, so I'm really excited to have you here.
All right.
So let's talk a little bit about that Gem and Mineral Museum.
Well, the California State Mining and Mineral Museum up there in Mariposa, we're out at the fairgrounds, just a little bit south of town, but we actually have the official state rock and mineral collection for California, and includes mineral crystals and stuff from all over the world, and it's a pretty significant scientific collection, but we have a lot of bling on display as well.
What do you mean a lot of bling?
Oh, we got beautiful mineral crystals from, like I said, all over the world, and of course gold and things as well, but we really focus on showing people the importance of minerals, and of course mining, both historic, and today there's still plenty of mining going on in California.
Now, how come this Gem and Mineral Museum is in Mariposa? Why not somewhere else?
Well, Mariposa, it was in San Francisco for over 100 years, where the state geologist offices and all were, but they had to move out of there, and Mariposa is a very, very historic mining town.
Real estate's too expensive in San Francisco to have a dumb old Gem and Mineral Museum.
You hit it on the nose.
Right.
It's very expensive. The ferry building especially is where it was. But when it moved up to Mariposa, the city, or there are no cities in Mariposa, but the town of Mariposa and the county was very anxious to get that museum up there, because that is the beginning of the gold rush country. And it's a perfect location right on the way up to Yosemite.
Well, I'll tell you what, I spoke about it being a short drive to Mariposa, and I've taken it both ways. I went up 41 to 49, but last week we went up there through Merced and the 140, just about the same amount of time, but just another beautiful way to go. And if you guys want to go up to Mariposa for a day trip, you have this museum, but you also have the other museum, too.
Oh, yeah.
Great time for the kids.
History museum right in town. Coupled with us, we got the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Now, why do they send you, Randy? What makes you an expert on gem and minerals?
Well, basically, I'm a guide at the Mining and Mineral Museum. I've been there for about 13 years, and I'm also a big California history buff. So now I'm not a professional panner by trade, but there's a lot of experts that are up there, and they've taught me, and so I show others.
So you've actually found gold?
Oh, absolutely. The gold that I have found would probably not make a tooth, but the gold that's up there is being found by those who are a little more experienced.
Are they still finding a lot of gold up in Mariposa?
Oh, absolutely. Well, relative to the gold rush, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a lot. Let's just say there's a lot of active gold claims on them little creeks.
During the gold rush, how much gold were they pulling out of Mariposa?
Well, if you were the first one down to get to a river or creek and really get in there and mine it, you could find potato size and golf ball size, but that's a thing of the past. You had to get there pretty early to find that. And there's still some good nuggets to be found, but most of the gold's pretty fine.
Awesome. So you brought some gold panning equipment with us today.
I did, actually. This is what a real traditional gold pan was. In the early days, it was just a tin
Did they have
wash
plastic back then?
No, I'm in the one underneath.
Oh,
now, this is our speedy one. And this is 100 years of evolution, not a whole lot. And eventually, they came up with specific pans for gold panning. But at first, whatever worked, and that was a cheap tin wash pan. Now, of course, that was $1 in New York, and it was $8 in California.
So this is like dredging, but by hand.
Well, dredging, we keep getting better and better ways to wash that sand and get that gold out. But the bottom line, even when you dredge, at the very end, you get those concentrates and pan it out.
Okay, so what I do is there's a little bit of, bottom of the river here?
Yeah, now this would have taken a lot of work to get to this point, because you've already sifted through all the rocks and the gravel and the mud and the crud, and you get down to that last little bit.
How far down is this?
Well, the farther down, wherever you get down below gravel and hit bedrock, that's where most of the gold is. So cleaning out those cracks and holes. It's good to get teenagers to clean out all the way down there until you get to the bottom, then send them home.
I see. So what's the technique?
Well, the technique, get some water in your pan there.
I notice it has ridges on the inside of this. Is this to catch the stuff?
Absolutely. This is the big innovation. I don't know why it took them 150 years.
So I get a little water in there?
Yeah, get some water in there, and shake and wiggle, though, because you got to get your, your gold sunk. Front,
look at that, gold!
You're doing it. Now, hold on. Now, what you got to do is kind of swirl and get that gold to go from the front of the pan. Hold on here. That sand, go from the front of the pen to back, real slow, one at a time. All right, now I don't know, can we see that there?
Look, oh, there is gold.
There's some gold
There is
in
gold.
there.
Did you see that? I
That's
found
right.
gold, everybody. Yeah, look, right here. Look at that.
If you
The
have
real
any,
gold. Look at that.
if you have any dirt you need moved, I'll tell them we found it there.
Look at right there. That's real gold.
That is
I'm
gold.
rich.
And that's pretty fine gold. But again, nuggets are not all that common unless you go through a lot of stuff. Here's a couple of slightly bigger nuggets.
Ooh, drop that in there. I'll
Drop
make.
those
Look,
in there.
I found big
Now,
pieces.
if you
Look
find
at
that,
this.
yeah.
Yay.
Now,
Look
those
at-
are worth more than gold, actually.
Why is that?
Because most of the world's gold's fine little gold. And when you find an actual play with it kind of nugget or a picker like that, because it's rare, it's worth more than pure gold.
Now, how much does this weigh?
That, well, right here, this is 1 ounce of fine gold.
So
right
what's
there.
an ounce of gold going for right now?
I haven't looked today, but around $1,300.
Awesome. Thank you
Now,
very much,
this is not
Randy.
pure gold, though. There's no
Oh.
pure gold in the ground.
How much
But
is this
again-
gold worth?
Well, that gold would be worth well over $1,000, even though it's not pure.
Thank you.
Now, like I said, you get big pieces, or if you get crystalline gold, which actually has to be found before the rock crushers get it, and acid etched and release the crystalline gold has never been worn or eroded. That really can get some high dollar. And gold, like diamonds, as it gets bigger, it's worth more per ounce
Really?
as the big pieces get big. So yeah, we have gold as well as all kinds of other valuable gems at the museum. Come up and see it. And we do a whole gold camp, a 49er gold camp when we have our bigger events like our gem show coming up.
Is that for kids?
For everybody. And we have the full period dress and all the stuff from the old days. And then also some of my
Oh, wait a
volunteers.
minute. So it's like a Renaissance fair, but for gold miners?
Yeah, but unlike the Renaissance where there's lots and lots of booths, we just got our little camp because just like the gold miners, we kind of want to be by ourselves. But we've stepped for a lot of people coming in. But in the gold rush days, we're just showing one little gold camp to show how did you do this without the fancy plastic pans and all that. And then you can pan for gold yourself because we have guaranteed pay dirt. That's a 2014 legal guarantee, not gold rush guarantee.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, in the gold rush, let me put it this way. Don't take a guarantee from a guy living in a tent. Our building's pretty permanent. We'll be there tomorrow. So if
I
we guarantee
see.
our pay dirt, we'll be there to prove it.
All right. Well, Randy, you're going to come back later on in the show. We're going to talk to you a little
Sure.
bit more about the gem and minerals, and you brought some friends with you, right?
Yep, I got Sue Carney, and she's got a great shop in town, and has a lot of gold for sale there as well. If you want, we have what we call liars and cheaters insurance. So if you need to bring home gold from your panning excursion, we won't tell no one where you got it.
Now, if someone wanted to go up and visit Mariposa for the day and go to the Gem and Mineral Museum, first of all, where's it at?
Well, we are at the Mariposa County Fairgrounds, which is just a little bit south of the town of Mariposa on historic Highway 49. And like you said, you can go through Oakhurst and you'll catch us just before you hit town. Or if you go up through Merced, turn right at Mariposa and you'll see us at the fairgrounds.
And is there a cost to get in?
Yep, it's $3. Well, no, excuse me, it's $4 for adults, and 12 and under are always free. We have a lot of kids' activities, Junior Ranger program, and all. But during our gem show coming up, it's $3 just to get into the whole show, and that includes coming to the museum.
And do people come from long ways away to go to see this show?
Well, they do a fair amount. They come from all over the world to see the museum. But yeah, we get a pretty good turnout at our show, and a mixture of mineral dealers and people that are selling stuff to make jewelry and mineral crystals, food, music. We have a scavenger hunt, Easter egg hunt coming up because this is on April 19th and 20, which is Easter weekend.
Right.
But it's beautiful, blooming and green up there at that time, so it should be nice.
And is there a lot of things to do for the kids? A lot of interactive stuff going on?
Oh, yeah. We have a kids booth, and of course they can come and see our gold camp and really get to see. And then we have some play gold that they can play with, too, that doesn't cost anything. And we'll have an educational booth. They have a miniature train ride they're going to have. We'll have an Easter egg hunt on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and that's free to the kids. And they might win the grand prize of a big fossil collection we're giving away.
Okay, one last question. I ask this to everyone that I meet from Mariposa. How did you get to Mariposa?
Well, I've been visiting there for many years. I was a guide in Yosemite and all for a while, and just decided I wanted to get up into the foothills, and wound up, I was teaching science up there, and when the museum job came up, that was a great place. So kind of like a lot of other people, went up there and kind of got stuck.
Were you into rocks and gems and stuff when you were a kid?
Actually, I was just more into the high country and the history, but yeah, there's so much rocks and minerals in California, I got into it more. And 13 years at the museum, you pick up a few things.
Did you have the rock polisher when you were a kid?
You know, I did. I had the little tumbler and whatnot, but I got sort of spoiled. I like the crystals, and you got to do a little more hunting to find nice crystals.
What kind of crystals they finding up in Mariposa?
Well, in Mariposa, we find some garnets, but mostly gold. The big focus in Mariposa is gold, but we also have some world-class, tremendously huge quartz crystals that are unbelievably clear, and we sell some huge ones that they dig up right near the museum. And how'd you like to go in your yard and come out with $600 worth of quartz crystals after a couple hours of work?
I love that. Okay. All right, Randy, thanks for coming
thanks for
on.
having me.
Always fun to have you, and this is really cool stuff. We'll have Randy back later on in the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, remember I told you we have a band that plays all Pink Floyd? Well, they're coming up next. Stick around. And then after